And thank you all very much for waiting. And if I had been here earlier, I'd went around and said hello to everyone. We were here just about 2 months ago, right? We were here 2 months ago, and I took a tour. We were meeting some good people, getting some good information, and halfway through, getting a lot of good suggestions. As people like to give the mayor, I said, well, we need to come back and spend some time when we can hear those suggestions, when we can really be able to absorb all of them. Because we were just taking a quick tour, people had some ideas. We need some specific programs. We need some specific things done better, Mr. Mayor. And so we said we're going to come back and have a town hall. And my staff has worked hard with Jim Graham's staff, Calvin Woodland, and our DC jail leadership to set this up. And what we envision is hopefully we're going to, as a group, come up with some recommendations of things that just simply need to be done better, some things that need to be introduced, and then I'm sure there's some things that we haven't even discussed at all. So very happy to be here. Thank you to Devon Brown. Thank you to all of you. And it looks like I'm going to turn it over to Calvin Woodland to describe the ground rules.
Yes.
Devon, welcome you. Yeah, okay, let's do that first. And but again, we want to thank all of you for being here. We really wanted to have a town hall where everyone could come, but it was really impossible to find a place where we could do that. So you all are the representatives of everyone else for today, but we will be back and we will hear from everybody, and we'll find a way to include everybody in making sure that we have the best facility, the best rehabilitation programs, et cetera, et cetera. Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of the Department of Corrections in its entirety, I'd like to welcome the mayor and everyone that has agreed to participate in today's events. This is a very special day. Not often do we have a mayor of a city who comes to a jail to show his commitment to those who are here, in recognition that although you may have stumbled, you have not fallen, and that you are still members of this community. The mayor was here, as he said, 2 months ago, and he has returned to hear from you. I want all of you to speak freely. This is your opportunity. You are representatives of the other inmates in our custody and perhaps future inmates that come here. So again, Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you.
And what we normally do at our town halls is we run them in a format where we put about 4 questions out, and we introduce the question, and then as a group, and we set everybody up as tables, people come together, make some recommendations, and then after about 8 to 10 minutes, we call on a couple of tables, hear what recommendations we have. We think that we get that collaborative process, people thinking together, recommending together, and then 2, instead of it being, this is what's wrong, or Mr. Mayor, this is a question I have, it's really, what are your recommendations? What are your marching orders for me as the mayor of the District of Columbia? When I leave here today, what are the things you recommend we start working on right away? Let me just have Calvin Woodland talk about any other ground rules I missed.
Good morning. Good morning. Before I do that, first let me thank the mayor for being here this morning. And as most of you all know, that there has not been an event like this in this jail since the beginning. So let's give the mayor a hand for coming over. As soon as he was asked, he immediately responded and said, get with his scheduler and set something up. So that's the kind of mayor we have with Mayor Adrian Fenty, and we are all grateful to have him as our mayor. And as they said about the ground rules, it's just that we're going to take 4 questions from the floor. And you all can think about what those questions are, what's the most pressing needs you have right now. More importantly is not the immediate needs, but we're trying to do some wraparound services for you guys. We met yesterday to talk about what some of the things you all are going to need when you get out of here, we know the issues that you face in, and we're trying to address those as a government. And so we're going to ask again that you all be respectful of each other's opinions. If somebody have an opinion that you may not agree with, please allow them to express themselves so that we could, again, make sure we hear from everybody. We got a different sampling of the jail's population, and that's what we asked for. We wanted people from different blocks, from different races, and we just wanted a sample of the entire population here, and Mr. Brown has done a great job with delivering that for us. So we're here to listen to you, and again, as the mayor said, he wants some marching orders, so when he leave here, next time we come back, we can start to address the issues that you all bring up today. Thank you.
Before we begin with the first question, I just want to recognize a couple of people who are here. First, Raheem Jenkins, who's on my left. He does a lot of our reentry work in the District of Columbia, and I know he'll be an invaluable part of this conversation. We have the organization, the Peaceaholics, who are here, Ron Moten and Jahar Abraham, the CEO and the CEO. We have Big G from Backyard and The Wire, a native Washingtonian. I know he's going to add a lot to the discussion. And then we have our director of the Department of Employment Services, Summer Spencer, who is here. When we hired Director Spencer, we said we've got two groups of district residents who we've got to make sure we do a better job with. One is young people. We got to make sure young people get a better opportunity, summer jobs. We've already increased the number of kids by a couple thousand who are going to have jobs this summer, but two is our ex-offenders. We have got to make sure every ex-offender who wants to have a job, and I bet it's pretty much 100%, who want to have a job when they come out can get that job. And so that's our mission, and that's a good place to start our first question. Again, what we're going to do, I'm going to lay out the question, and then as a group at your table, just kind of throw out some recommendations, maybe come to a couple of two or three, and then we'll call on the tables at the end of that 8 to 10 minute period. And it's very general, but I think that's how we want to start. What are the three things that the District of Columbia government can do to improve conditions in the jail? So please talk about that issue at your tables for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to call on representatives of each table. Let the 8 minutes begin. I think we're going to call everybody's attention. I can tell you from walking around that there's some great dialogue going on, and what we'd like to do is to call on about 3 tables to hear on just this first question. And what are the primary recommendations for me and then for my agency heads that we can do to improve conditions in the jail? And all I'll ask is whoever is going to speak for the table, if you could just stand up where you are.
It was very easy for us to come to this conclusion.
Yes, sir.
Because it seemed to affect every one of us the exact same way. And that's the lockdown procedure.
Okay.
The lockdown process,
Sorry.
the procedure that's going on. It doesn't make any sense. A lot of times, there are things that we need to address, and we have no communication system when it comes to us actually talking to the officer. Sometimes they're not able to actually reach us. And when they do, and this is not towards any particular officer, but on the whole, they're very callous, they're insensitive. And they're guys I know right now to this very minute, they have medical needs that can't be met. We understand that Unity Healthcare is just taking over a brand new contract and they're implementing their style of treating us. But the fact of the matter is when you have diabetics that can't get their insulin because of lack of communication, then it's a rippling effect. Then, on top of that, and I'm not beefing with it, it's just a fact that what's happening.
Yeah.
Then it gets down to dehumanizing us.
So and that's during the lockdown too you're talking
Yes.
about?
It's Sir, the lockdown procedure is so one side comes out and the other side is locked down. If someone on the other side that is currently behind their door cannot get out and needs something, they have to pretty much kick on their door to get something done.
Okay.
And it's been like this for years.
Okay, let's hear some other recommendations. It seems like we went right to one of the most important ones. Okay, yes, ma'am.
We're from the female population, and we have a lot of issues as women, and one is education. Two is just us being women and being forgotten. We don't get the proper things we need for as underwear, bras, socks, health care. It's like when we go to medical, the doctors be like, well, what they doing up there? I mean, we're inmates also. Another thing I like to address, like same with the men, is the count time. It's like they don't know how to count. We stay locked down too much, and it's not fair to us.
Okay. Okay.
And
Well, that's, yeah.
food.
All right. And so what we like to do, we're going to keep going around to a couple more tables. Then we got other questions as well. Two things. One, all of the sheets that are in front of you, we're going to call on table representatives, but please take a second to write on your sheets some of the more specific things, like the young lady here mentioned education and food. It would be helpful to us to know what specific recommendations you have about education, for example. And I think it's best to write them down, or maybe some future people will talk about it. And then, what are the problems with food, and what do we need to do? Let's call on two more tables, and we'll go to the next question. Okay, yes, sir.
When she mentioned the food, right?
Yes.
This jail is predominantly African American, and it seems like every meal, all we have is white bread, potatoes, and white rice. And I mean, it seems like they want us all to leave out of here being diabetics.
Okay.
So, you know, that's
Okay.
a big issue.
Okay.
You know, why we can't have wheat bread, why we can't have brown rice, you know?
Yes.
I mean, more vegetables, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a big issue. That's a big issue.
Okay. And then, yes, sir, you had the last one on this round.
I want to speak about inmate advocacy group. Most of the brothers in here's problems can be summed up in the inmate advocacy group. We can sit down and speak about everything from block to block. We need a representative from block to block that can come together, speak about the most important things that all the brothers and sisters want, and come together and turn it over to the proper authority as far as they can answer our problems. Another thing is the case management. You have brothers that's also, it's a problem for the government, because you have brothers suing the government for being in jail too long. You know, the case manager is supposed to compute our time. You know, we have brothers that's here after they already been sentenced for, well, I believe the brother here tell me that it's supposed, at the very most, 6 weeks after you get sentenced, to go to the feds. You know, DCJ, especially since the brother, the new warden took over, there's been some things going on. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. But we need to get to the feds when we supposed to get to the feds.
Yeah.
This is not a beautiful sight here. You know, it's a jail and there's improvements being done, but it's not where you want to be at after you get time, whether it's a lot of time or a little bit of time. So that's, you know, that's basically what we need: an advocacy group, and we need a case management system that gets us out of here when we're supposed to get out of here. Compute our time, give us legal calls, and then you got some brothers that can't afford to make family calls.
Yeah. And
we have either the family home can't afford to pay to have you call, and you can't afford because your account is empty to make collect calls. So they can't contact their families. You know, and then that's one thing that keep a brother straight. They call them home and their kids tell them, "Dad, why you locked up? When you know, can't you stay out of jail?" If they can't get that, when they go home, man, you know, they gonna go right out there, do the same exact thing, and be right back in here. You know?
That's great. All right. Well, we appreciate that, and make sure you write down some specifics about case management. So we're going to collect all the sheets at the end, and we can go through them. This was an extremely important question, and the next question I know is just as important. This is one I hear a lot as mayor, and I'm going to read it, and then we're going to take about the same amount of time and then come back just as we did and hear from everybody. And you have it in front of you, but I'm going to read the question. It's, what kind of support do you need from the community and the District of Columbia government as you transition from the jail back into the community. So please discuss that. And I know that there's some great recommendations. Right, right. Okay, we'll take a little less time since one gentleman said we already have the answers. All right. We'll do about 4 or 5 minutes and come right back. This is one that probably didn't even need that much time to come up with the recommendations, but we always like to try and get consensus at the tables and then call one representative. I think you had your hand up first.
And,
Yes.
I have an issue with housing as well for the females as the men. I know that the government don't owe you anything, but females, when they're released from the community, even if they don't have small children, there may be nowhere to go for them. You know, because we are convicted felons and what have you. And we go to get jobs, and on an application, if you be honest about you being a convicted felon, most people and most agencies will reject you because you're being honest on your application. So where are we to go from there? Back to where we know best, and then we end up back here.
Okay, that's extremely helpful. Okay, appreciate that. Let's go to another table. Again, these are recommendations of the support needed from the community and the district government as you transition from the jail back into the community. Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mayor Fenty?
Good, sir.
My name is Mr. Thompson, and the reentry is most important because you have, especially here, they have programs. One program, which is for GED and like that, but if you're over the age of 22, you won't be accepted into it. And that's a big issue because if you leave out the same way you came in, you're coming back. A lot of people, they don't have any self-worth because they don't know anything other than what they've been taught or what they see. We need help as far as that, as far as the programs, even drug programs. There's none here. You know, I thank God for the staff here as far as on the clergy because they go above and beyond to try to help us. They get us things we need. You know, but they need help too. You know, support. That's what we need. And we were talking about financial support when we get back because a lot of people come back because when they leave this, if they don't have any family out there to help them, then they have no money. They can't get around to get to any place, to jobs, or even to taking a drug test or whatever you may have.
Okay.
And then a lot of times they end up going back, like the young lady said, to what they know best. You know. Society sometimes will have you thinking, well, we have strikes against us. For one, we affect offenders. And then especially if you have a drug issue, you know, we have 2 strikes against us, and then we're black, not taking it another way. But like I say, support is
Okay.
most needed. We need that the most.
That's helpful. Let's hear from 2 more tables, and we'll go to the third question.
The first support we need is some type of education. See, because regardless of what you do for us, if we don't have education, we won't have the sense to do something for ourselves. So we need a second chance because we didn't necessarily have a first chance. Some people are not even guilty in here. So we criminalize and we're actually guilty until proven innocent, not innocent until proven guilty. So what we need is not to be looked at and not to be a stereotype, because you got stereotype and racial profiling going from the top of the government on down to the bottom, and it's spread throughout the communities. So when we beat some cases or we get acquitted, we're not looked at as people who the justice system did justice by. We looked at as Negroes who got away with something. So the problem is that true prison reform starts with the enlightenment of the quote-unquote inmate to who he is in reality, and not what we have become due to circumstances. So if we look at ourselves as criminals, we're going to act out of the thought that's put in our mind as who we're supposed to be or who we look at. So I want to say one more thing is the U.S. Attorney's Office is out of control. They're using mafia-type prosecutions against common black folks in little communities just because of the gentrification process that's going on in Washington, D.C. Then they have the authority to call over here and get people locked down when they're in trial to hinder their ability to present a defense. So they have brothers in solitary confinement because they own what they call a quote-unquote high-profile case. But if they're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, so how can you say this man is a violent offender? You have some people over here who have never had, for their first charge is a quote-unquote RICO conspiracy. Their first charge is a quote-unquote continuing criminal enterprise. But in all actuality, if anything was going on, it was on a minor scale. So the crack cocaine and the powder cocaine, you need a powder to get the crack. So why would they give these brothers more time for crack and not with the difference of the powder?
Okay, that's
so
great.
What we need is a first chance, not a second, but a first chance.
Okay. And then I think we're going to hear from this table. We'll go to our next question, and we'll keep going around on the third question.
Con el debido respeto que usted se merece, le voy a hacer sentir qué es lo que sentimos los latinoamericanos acá, a usted y a toda la comunidad. Creo que ninguno de ustedes me está entendiendo hasta el momento, porque hablo español. Y es una necesidad que nosotros tenemos acá en esta prisión. Ojalá cuando usted tenga la grabación de esta conversación que tenemos usted y yo, se dé cuenta que nosotros los latinoamericanos necesitamos aprender el idioma de ustedes, el idioma de Shakespeare, para poder comunicarnos y no estar en una situación donde podemos no conocer nuestros derechos por no conocer el idioma. ¿Okay? Quiero que entiendan ustedes que es prioridad para nosotros que esta desafortunadamente creciente comunidad latina en esta prisión pueda aprender el idioma de Shakespeare y poder comunicarse con ustedes. Muchas gracias por su atención.
Okay.
Ojalá lo traduzcan para que lo puedan.
Okay. That's right.
Every time
That's
he
right.
stands up to talk to a correctional officer,
That's right.
or try to talk to some staff,
Okay.
look at him just like everybody else looked at him just now.
That's right. You're going to do a translate, then we're going to go on to the next question. Yes, sir.
Basically, what he just said, to sum it up, he said that they need more programs for them to learn English so they can communicate better. They don't want to be turned down. We don't want to be turned down for just because we can't speak. You know what I'm saying? We can't communicate. You know what I'm saying? Like I go down and I talk to the CMP. For most of the people that don't speak English, I translate for them. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes it's just little things that they miss because they can't communicate. He's asking for programs where they can speak English, they can learn.
Okay, appreciate it. Let's go to the third question. I know there's probably a lot more on that. Again, I just want to encourage everybody to take the sheets that you have, write it down, be as specific as possible. Just a couple more general announcements. One, what we're doing is we're providing the same sheets that you all have. The same sheets that you all have are going to every other inmate in the jail, and then they're going to mail in to us all of the recommendations. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all the recommendations and we're going to compile them into a report of what we were asked to do and then what the Fenty administration is going to do to respond to this town hall. And then at some point in the future, we'll come back and report to you on how the things are going, but you'll be able to see them here firsthand, okay? More on that at the end. Let's go to the third question, which is, as you have it, what kinds of programs, including workforce opportunities, supervision, could have been utilized as alternatives to incarceration? So what kind of programs, including workforce opportunities and supervision, could have been utilized as alternatives to incarceration? And we'll take another 5 minutes on that, please. All right, we're going to go ahead and call on some tables for our third question, which was what kind of programs, including workforce opportunities and supervision, could have been utilized as alternatives to incarceration. And we had a request. We're going to start off over here at this table with one of our younger inmates.
My name's Tanisha Adams, and I was going to speak for them since they don't want to get up.
Go,
they
that's
feel
fine.
like they being locked down too much. They want more days out. Like, say, for instance, our juvenile, our unit, we have one, and it's only one women's facility in the whole. She stayed locked down 22 hours a day. And then when she does get to come out, we have to go on lock. And we don't think that's fair. And so far as me, I feel like this is my first, like the brother said, that's my first time ever being in jail. And I feel like I shouldn't, I'm here on hearsay, and I feel like I should have been able to get house arrest or maybe go to a halfway house or something. And they wouldn't let me, you know what I'm saying? They said that I'm a high risk. I don't understand what that is, but I feel like somebody needs to address these issues we have because nobody speaks out for us. This is truly a blessing for you to be here, but to hear what everyone has to say, because the officers don't even take the time. When they're having a bad day, we suffer. When somebody get hurt, we suffer. Say, for instance, downstairs on South 1, we suffer way up here on South 2 and 3. It's not fair. Nobody, and we the only women in the whole, like she said, we the only women in the whole facility. They treat us like.
And so you said you had a couple of alternatives to incarceration.
Yes, like get out on house arrest and maybe go to a halfway house or something. Anything better than being in hell, because this jail is, excuse me, a hellhole. You know what I'm saying? They don't treat us fairly in here. It's nasty. We breathing recycled air. Somebody come in with a disease, the whole unit got it. Even the guards, they get sick off of these nasty inmates that come in. It's not fair.
All right, let's hear from 3 other tables about some things that may be alternatives to incarceration. What possible kind of programs? I'm gonna just try and call on people who haven't spoke yet. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Lawrence Menard. As far as incarceration alternatives, you got 24-hour detention, home monitoring, GPS. For misdemeanors and pretrial offenders. Janitorial service as far as teachers in here. I think it's only one staff member that's a qualified teacher for just GED. You've got janitorial education you can give, computer literacy, barbering, to go along with the work release programs, to let them go out in the community to work. They're able, they're pre-trial, they're not offenders yet. Life skills, anger management, being able to, a family-oriented person comes in here and gets depressed. They can't communicate with their family. They're being detained for, like you said, a hearsay. And over a period of time, spiritually, that kills a human being. Being away from your community kills a human being. And a Bible, a simple Bible, would lift so many people in here. Really be substantial to anyone in here. If you can get your Quran or whatever religious material you can get, they're doing an outstanding job trying to get it to us. But when there's so many guys that's coming in and out, you can't even keep a daily bread. A daily devotional, any type of material like that is so substantial in here. It'll be a big difference. Spiritually, inward from inward out. Thank you.
I'm gonna just try and go to people who haven't spoke yet. Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. My name is Martin Newkirk. As reference to the other programs that we can use here within the District of Columbia, community service will be a great thing for all of us to uplift our spirits, our mindset, increasing the fine program. There are some of us that can't pay to have things taken care of for us. And with that note, I say thank you.
And you and everyone else, make sure you write down potential kinds of community service as well so we can follow up. Yes, sir, you'll be the last person on this round.
My name Donnell Burley. I'm talking about like programs for young men like myself. I'm only 20 years old, right? But they don't got no programs for us out there, you know? Like the juveniles and stuff, right? They wonder why they get locked up. Cause you go in every neighborhood, there's no program for us, you know? What we left for? We left to do what we do, you know? And such as what they say we did, you know? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, more programs for juveniles, you know? That's all. That's all.
Appreciate it. And we're gonna take, like I said at the end of the last round, we're gonna take all the recommendations, especially some specific ones on community service and programs, put them together, and then when we come back to the DC jail for a follow-up, we'll be able to say, you know, which one of the things you all recommended we already either have working on or have been completed. So kind of like a report card following this particular town hall. Let's go to the last question, and after we hear from the tables, after the last question, then a couple of our guest speakers will be able to close us out. And that question is, what gives you hope about the future? What will your life be like in 5 years? So why don't you take a couple minutes, and we'll come back and hear from 4 tables again. All right. Appreciate it, everyone. And our last question now, I'm just going to repeat it. What gives you hope about the future? What will your life be like in 5 years? And I want to thank our staff for adding this question, and hopefully it's a good way to close out. I think you were going to start us off, sir? Okay. Mr. Tillman.
I'm a parole violator doing 14 months. And for real, to be honest with you, there's no hope for the future. If you and the community don't help them.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Got to help them because, see, I came from a place in North Carolina. We raised corn, tobacco, sent it all over the country. District of Columbia raised criminals. That's the District of Columbia's crop, you know?
Yes, Mr. Tillman.
Got to change it.
It will. Appreciate it. God bless you.
Yes, my name is Neil Hilliard. I wouldn't like to say that I'm just representing for the Sunni community, but I'm a representative for mankind. And it's, we had a lot of good things that we were saying here, and I've been hearing a whole lot of good things, right? But it ain't about what we hearing if we not putting it into practice.
That's right. That's right.
So, knowledge without actions is just information. So a lot of us have information, but I'm asking everyone in this room right here, what are you going to do right now to help the community? It ain't about the community keep helping us. It's about what we can do to help the community.
That's right.
See, because we are the same ones, whether you like it or not, we are the ones that help tear it down. So if you're going back out there, help build it back up. And you can't reach out there to the younger society if they not seeing it within yourself.
That's right.
See, if they not seeing it within you, they not gonna listen to you. They don't want to hear that. You got the brothers from Peaceaholics over here. I've been reading the paper and everything. We got to think about this word being hot. See, but if you know your worth and you know what your future is, and you got hope in your future, you put your trust in God to know that when you standing up for right, it ain't no such thing as wrong. When you standing up for right, you won't be just demoralizing women, and you'll be having a heart to check people when they doing something wrong. Well, you don't have to go get a police. You'll be able to do it yourself. That's what your worth is. See, that's what you were created for. You see, to check the vices of the people. Because if you don't check the vices of the people, God will send someone to check you. You see, so that's why we all are here. We know we recognize our mistakes. You see, now it's time to do something about it. Starting today. So 5 years from now, whatever like that. I haven't been up this jail since the 80s, right? And since I've been here, I done seen a lot of good things, but then I've seen a lot of bad things also. But they are moving in a direction that is good. I never seen no format like this. As well as fonts like, we got Christians, we got Muslims, we got different ethical, religious-based groups or whatever, This is my first time being up here where I seen that when it came down to Ramadan, right? Something that had been going on for years and years and years, it was getting snatched away from you because of an escape. Okay. So to speak, we talk about what we can do to change these things or whatever like that, is that the police, as well as everyone around you, they gotta see it within you. And that's the solution right there. They gotta see it within yourself. If they don't see it within yourself, it ain't gonna be no hope, like the brother said right there. If they don't see it within yourself, if you don't start right now to sit up here and say, no, I was wrong. It ain't about me keep on trying to go out there for a handout, for this and for that. Like I said, they trying their best, the piece of harlots, whatever like that. But now you got those that say, I'm not gonna be with them because they telling. You see, and this is wrong. You see what I'm saying? So how you gonna help fix something if you don't have the courage to stand up yourself? You know it's wrong. So if you go back out there doing the same thing, you coming back in. This brother right here, we had an opportunity, you know what I'm saying? We further away from our families. We way up on a mountain in Kentucky somewhere. We don't have a facility closer to home. Yeah. You see, he's shipping us everywhere, right? But what I did realize that, and he can bear witness to this, that we preach about change, whether we on the road or we here. It's about being a benefit to mankind, right? And telling a person when you're wrong. You see, if you're not doing that, you ain't doing nothing at all.
You see if there's at least one more person.
My name is John Miles. I think first and foremost, when you're talking about hope for the future, I think the hope for the future lies in knowing who and whose you are, first and foremost. That's right. And I think that gives you a spiritual foundation, and having that spiritual foundation, you'll place yourself in position. We talked about no hope for the future for the young. I can't just dump that on the government, right? Because I'm in the neighborhood. And I know they look to me as they look to a lot of us. It's about changing me. That's right. Being the message that you bring. Come on. A man once said that a block of wood could point the way. But we must start going that way. So I have to stop coming in places like this and telling a young guy that that's a bad thing to do. But yet he see me do it.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we have to get spiritually grounded. First and foremost, you have to have a direction. Come on. And you have to have direction. So I'm not going to dump it just on the government, but I applaud the government for taking the opportunity for such a flow mat, because meetings like this get things done. I can't start a race. I can't finish a race if I don't start it. Right. So I'm gonna put this as the starting line. That's right. Hopefully we'll finish successfully. Thank you.
Hand that microphone to one of the young folk. Close us out. Hand it to one of the young folk to close us out.
About the future, God give me hope for the future for everyone.
There you go.
And they say, will my life be like in 5 years? I can't honestly say, because life is not promised to no one tomorrow. All I can do is work towards a better day. And another thing for representing the juveniles, some of us don't have no hope. They lost. And I see it every day. Because now, like in here, we don't have no rehabilitation. And when I have already got sentenced. And when I went to go get sentenced, my judge denied rehabilitation for me. So now, I don't know what I'm looking forward to, but I still work towards a better day, trying to get my GED. You know what I'm saying, talk to other juveniles who want to know. And some people that don't want to listen, I try to, be there to guide them. But if they don't want to listen, then you can't help nobody that don't want to help themselves. So all I really want to say is that I just hope that my future turns out right, and for everybody in here, God bless.
That's great. That's great. That's great. That's exactly what I think we need to do. And let me just remind everybody how we're going to follow up. All the sheets that you've written on, our city administrator staff is going to collect those, and We're going to also, everyone else in the GC jail is going to get one of the forms. They're going to be mailing them in to us. And then what we're going to do is take all that information and put it into a summary of what we are going to do to respond to your recommendations and your concerns. We'll have a meeting in City Hall where we discuss it with the directors and others, but then we'll come back out to DC Jail and have another town hall, and we'll hear some more from the community, but we'll also be reporting back on some of the things that we've done in response to the exact same things we heard in this room. Before we let everybody go, I was going to ask a couple of people to just say some closing remarks. The first one, I know everybody wants to hear from the Director of the Department of Employment Services, Summer Spencer. Like I said, a couple of things we charged her with. One was youth employment, and we said we want to make sure we don't turn away any young person for a summer job, and that's how we've done it, just as was the case when I grew up here in the city. And the second thing is how we're going to make sure that when you all come out of here, one, that jobs are available, but two, there's a connection while you're here to those jobs.
Good morning, everybody. Before I just briefly talk to you a little bit about DOES, I wanted to share an anecdote that happened to me last week when I was getting on the Metro. And as you all might recall, last week was a really, really hot week. And I had just come from one of our apprenticeship graduations, our pre-apprenticeship program graduations. And I was getting on the Metro with one of our graduates, and he had a bunch of his friends with him. And, some of his friends started giving him a hard time and saying, man, why you want to be, doing construction? It's hot out there. You got to get up early. It's hard work. And he really stood committed and said, you know what? I can make really good money doing this, and it's a skill that's needed in this city because of all of the development. And I was really proud of him for standing up to his friends. And what I'm really proud of all of you in here is just seeing that commitment for all of you saying, you know what? It's not just the government or the community saying, how can we support you? But it's also you all making the commitment saying, here's how we're going to support each other. And I think that just says so much about the hope for the future for everybody in this room, because it has to start with hope and belief in ourselves and support for one another, and the support from the community will quickly follow. So I just wanted to share that with you, because I want to make sure that you all have hope for yourselves and know that we all have hope for you and believe in you. I wanted to talk just real briefly about the Department of Employment Services, and I'm leaving some flyers here to share with everyone so that you know what's available in the community. We do have our one-stop centers, which you'll find information about those one-stop centers on the flyers, where you can go, you can walk in, you can get assistance. We just implemented a new motto that nobody leaves empty-handed. So if you walk into that one-stop center, whatever you need, if we can't provide it for you, because you might not be ready for a job yet, you might need housing, you might need training, you might need assistance with substance abuse, we'll at the very least be able to give you a direct referral and say, here's where you go, here's who you talk to, here's when you go. And that way you can start getting some of that assistance that you need. We have job training opportunities. So if you want to learn a new skill, there's opportunities about that. We've got apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs to build a skill, and it's not just about construction. Someone mentioned barbering earlier. There's an apprenticeship opportunity for that. So there's lots of different opportunities that you can explore. And finally, I wanted to make sure that you're all aware of our transitional employment program. It's a program that we have where we work with you for 3 weeks in a class, learning life skills and work skills, and then we help place you in subsidized employment for anywhere from 2 months to 6 months to sometimes 12 months. And then hopefully what happens is you transition into a permanent job as a result of that opportunity. Right now, I'll be the first to say it's one of our most successful programs. We've got a bit of a waiting list right now, so we're really looking at how can we get rid of the waiting list so that when you all go in to sign up, we can get you in that class right away. So we've got all the information, and we'll make sure to get it out to you. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll leave everybody with one of the flyers with phone numbers, et cetera, today. I want to ask either Mr. Moten or Mr. Abraham from the Peaceaholics just to say a couple words, and we're going to close out with our celebrity, Big G.
I just want to say one thing. I commend the warden of this
Devon Brown.
Mr. Brown, because the vision that you have for previously incarcerated people and people who are in this place, I know where you're going with it. I know it's hard to transform things into something positive, because I was in here before, and I know what this jail is like. And I know a lot of brothers and sisters in here really want to do the right thing, but if we don't set them up to be successful when they leave, they're not going to be successful. But one of the things I suggest
is that the government bring in all the agency heads. There's a lot of things that these brothers and sisters in here can do when they release. Most of them don't know about the vending opportunities that we have. We need to set something up when these people are released, these brothers and sisters are released. We have a certain amount of slots for people who were in the jail to go and learn how to be vendors. The barbering, like they were talking, that's something that people can learn within 6 months and go back out there and be employed. I see people in this room who got a lot of skills that can make calls on the street and stop the violence. Won't we subsidize them in the jail to work with some of these brothers in the streets so we can stop this violence? You know what I'm saying? Like with us, it's people, it ain't the people who doing what's right that caused all this. It's people like us, ex-offenders that hate on us, call us hot. I got zero tolerance on murder. I'm not going to tell any brother to kill another brother. I'm against that no matter who you are. I'm not in the streets no more. You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, we got to take opportunities to these people in here and in the streets so we can hold them accountable. You can't take children who never had mental health services and lost their mother and father, and then when they go commit a crime, we want to crack the whip on them. You see what I'm saying? We got to offer brothers and sisters services and opportunities to be successful. Then we can hold people accountable. But these brothers in here are the answer. Just like G, Cornell, I see other ex-offenders and who else? But all three of us, we out here doing stuff for people in the community. But all of us have been through things. Big G, y'all know what he was doing out there. Now he's out here helping people. So these brothers and sisters in here, we need to start a program where they're being empowered to make a difference in the community. With all this homicides, everybody in here knows somebody from one of these hoods where this violence is going on. They can make calls, they can talk to the younger brothers in here, get them to make calls to the street, and you'll be surprised of the effect they have. They are the answer. It doesn't cost a lot of money. Project Empowerment, I commend you all. We have 9 of your people who went through that program that work for us, and they are our best employees. People who've been inside this institution who want to change their life around. And that's what we gotta do. We gotta have a zero tolerance on this murder and this violence in the street. It cannot be accepted. And it's gonna come from people right in here that can make the calls on the street and touch them young brothers, but they gotta be able to survive. It took me 12 years. I had people like Cornell and other people who helped me out when I was about to be a bum on the street. It wasn't easy. We didn't get funded 3 years ago. I was almost homeless. Doing the work that we do, we got to make it so brothers and sisters don't have to go through that. But they the best solution. You get bit by a snake, the solution comes from a snake. That's where the antidote comes from. So this is not rocket science. Empower these brothers right now. Find out what their strengths are while they're in here. Do an assessment of each one of them in here. If you can't read, I know people who can't read who's still valuable. We got to get these local small businesses more contracts, like Blue Sky Construction, who out here hiring our youth $17.50 an hour to put windows in. They learn how to put windows in one day, but we bringing people from West Virginia and far out to get, and they getting all the money, and then they hire their children from West Virginia. Youngers like him, as soon as he come home, he can get a job. We got all these jobs coming available for DC public schools. Get them to the local small businesses who got relationships with people in this room, and we're going to eliminate half the problem off the top. So that's my suggestion. Okay. Let's get some of these jobs that's opening up to these people, because every beef we squash, like up 17 that we're working on right now. Gerard, the first thing the youngest talking about, get me a job. Yeah. I want off the streets. I just need some employment. So let's get these young people jobs. Let's get these brothers and sisters jobs. And that's half of the problem right away. But we can't count on DOES for everything. Right. We got to hold these people who getting all these contracts accountable and make sure a lot of them really come to these people in this population who will work hard, just like we work hard, just like G work hard, like Nail work hard, and everybody works hard if given an opportunity for real employment.
Okay. We asked Big G just to say a couple words.
I just want to touch on a few things coming from the street and where I was born, uptown Washington, D.C. I was in and out of this facility all my life. I was locked up as a juvenile here for a real serious crime. And I came home. And I came back again for another serious crime. And it's like the brothers that's in here now, when I was coming through here, I came through, 92, 93, as a juvenile from Oak Hill. And the older guys, they just coached me to go back out, you know, and bang, you know, just to do the wrong thing again. Ain't no older dude tell me Man, shorty, look, you got hike on you. You got a popular band out there. Man, go ahead out there and do the right thing. They like, man, look, you gotta be, man, you gotta watch yourself, man. You gotta make sure you got that hammer on you at all times. This is what older guys preach to our youngins. And what's going on right now in the hood, up where I live at, it's terrible right now. You got young 13-year-olds riding around with AK-47s, doing what they do, because they don't have no guidance. So I'm gonna put it on us in here. When they come through here, man, grab them youngers up. Man, say, look, shorty, it's not the way. Don't do that. Please, hold up. These brothers right here didn't give up on my life. They say, man, look, Joe, you got too much time. You doing this, you doing that. Man, come on, what you gonna do with your life? Once upon a time, I had to be out there with so many weapons on me because my life was in danger. I've been shot 13 times. I'm still right here. For the ladies in here, I've been shot down low and everything, one testicle left. It's hard on these streets, but I turned my life around. I ain't scared to go nowhere. I'm on TV and everything. The mayor, before he came mayor, he made sure he got a letter for me, made sure I did right with some positive brothers, piece of holics. Corn look out for me. I call him any time of the night. Just be positive, man.
That's right.
All we got to do is the youth is the future. If we don't watch out for the youth, we ain't gonna do nothing. That's right. That's right. I'm on TV and people see me, my voice here. I'm trying. I'm working hard. But it's still a struggle out there because I got family members that's right there in the hood. I'm still in the hood. I ride my bike every day on 14th Street, George Avenue. People see me. I'm right out there. They could be able to be accessible to touch me. And I talk to these youths. If I go into school and talk to them, I go to Oak Hill and talk to the kids, everything. Just like my man said, it ain't no programs. They don't have no jobs. These youngers want money. So when an older guy ride through the hood and drop the pack off, all they could do is take it. And I'm a piece of holic. Ain't nothing snitching about the piece of holics because we right there every day. And it's a rack of youngers that's come up right there every day that's still in the street. And they be like, man, we need help, G. What you gonna do for me? I take the clothes off my back. Many times we done been in school. I done seen a youngin' that was scared to come up and talk because his feet stink or he got on dirty shoes. But he got a gun and there's something else he want to go do after school with a stolen car. You know what I'm saying? I came up in the rough of the rough. You know what I mean? What I did, I minimized myself and I stayed solo, by myself. I let all the other dudes go because everybody want to grab my coattail. For what? I'm not a millionaire. Why grab my coattail? I'm trying to set an example for our youth. Our youth is the future. This, right? Okay. Thank y'all.
So we just about finished. I just want to remind everybody, we're going to get your sheets, put it all on paper. The government's going to come forward with our recommendations, though I do just want to say, I think it is very uplifting to see everybody talk about the people in this room being role models to another generation. Everyone has said that, and I think that's something special came out of this town hall that I don't think we even anticipated when we put together. The person who first called me to come visit the DC jail was Calvin Woodland, who works with Councilmember Graham, native Washingtonian. I just want to have him close us out.
I want to thank the mayor for being here today with us, y'all. Let's give him a big... Listen, I don't think a lot of you all understand how important today is. You know, when I say I want to thank the mayor for coming over here, that's because I've been over here a couple of times myself. As a matter of fact, 38 different times. Now, and I say that because I hope I can inspire somebody else in here who may have felt like I felt that last day when I was here. And I want to thank groups like the Peace of Harlots because it takes all of us in order to make this work. And this today has been a phenomenal meeting for me to see all you guys come out and speak to the issues over here. But more importantly, again, to have the opportunity that you had as a result of this mayor that we have today. When I called Mayor Fenty and said, Mayor Fenty, we need to go over to jail so you can speak to this other population, he told me to call his scheduler and put it on his schedule, and a week later we was here. Now, I don't know when the last time we've had a official, the mayor over here at the jail. Can you all remember? So again, can we give Mayor Fenty a round of applause? And last thing I want to say, more importantly than him being here today, is the kind of mayor that we have is one that's going to follow up on the issues that we talked about. It's going to come back. We're going to see some improvements and some changes. This is not a Kodak moment. We're not here for beauty contests. We're really here to make sure that some changes be made here, whatever we could do to support you guys, wraparound services while you're here and when you're on your way out. That's what we're here for, and that's why you got people like Big G and the Peaceaholics and all the other these organizations here, so that we make sure we get a full measure of what's going on, so that when you guys come home, you know that we give you the same opportunity that we've been provided. So thanks again, Mayor Fenty. Appreciate it.